Hey there, it's Walt.
And of course it's Ann.
Oh, it's nice to see you here today.
You.
So I shared on Facebook the other day a funny little meme. It was Maslow's pyramid, his hierarchy of needs, and someone had drawn in at the base of it
Toilet paper. Toilet paper.
Toilet paper. And you know, we like to share meaningful memes, and we hope they're of value to people and that people will share them. But I think of all of the funny memes that we've shared, I don't think that was reshared. It was just reshared and reshared and reshared. And we thought that's really funny that it's reshared so often.
Right. We'll put pearls of wisdom and people are like, eh. But a Maslow's hierarchy of needs with toilet paper. Yeah, that's everybody wants that one.
And I woke up this morning in the midst of all of the turmoil and realized that in one way, it speaks to something fundamental for us, that we, at the base of Maslow's pyramid, is that fundamental need that we're going to be okay. That
our basic needs are going to be met.
Yeah, and so we all want, as human beings, before we get to all the bigger ideals in the world, we want to know that we're going to be okay. And, you know, toilet paper is a little bit of a metaphor, or, you know, it's by hoarding those basic supplies, we just want to know we're going to be okay. And we are going to be okay. We are going to be okay. And people ask us, okay, so what are you guys doing? How are you getting through it? And probably in a very similar way that we get through our ordinary days and weeks. We have fundamental practices that we engage in and day out. They're just fundamental practices.
Right, so we ground ourselves with our morning run. If we weren't running, the anxiety would build. I mean,
the ordinary anxiety.
The ordinary anxiety of running a business and doing what we need to do in the world would build so much that our anxiety would come out sideways. And for me, it's like, I know I was anxious this week because there I was opening the cabinet door and grabbing a couple of crackers, and I don't need to be eating crackers. And I'll stand there and I'm like, I'm stress eating right now. So I catch myself and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to stress eat.
So a fundamental practice for us that we have always done, and we're doubling down on our practices right now, that we continue to do, is to get outside in our bodies and to run and to really be, and all sorts of good hormones are released that way, and a lot of our anxiety is tamped down that way. And of course, being in your body and being physical boosts your immune system. So if you have a physical practice, double down on that, do more of it. If you don't, it's a wonderful time. There's nothing else to do. Get outside and move in your bodies and be in your bodies.
Yeah, and it's writing for me is a way of understanding what it is that I'm feeling, what it is that I'm thinking right now. And writing is a great practice. Be you journaling or working on a bigger project. It's get the creative juices going. Write it out, you know, what it is that you are thinking and feeling at any given time.
So I love that, because a basic practice for me that I've done now for close to 30 years is a morning pages practice. 3 stream of consciousness pages first thing in the morning. And today, because we had a lot of stuff to get going, I've put that off.
Yeah, you look like really wired for sound.
I'm okay. But I realized I've deferred it, and I missed it. And so it's something I'm still going to do today, but it's a grounding practice that I do every single day, that journaling practice. And what it does, particularly for those of us who grapple with SPS, smart person syndrome, is that we get our ideas and our worries and all of that up in our heads. And it's really hard to process that. And I think by having some type of writing practice or journaling practice, we're able to move it out onto a page and actually provide ourselves with a little bit of relief.
Yeah.
And then for me, the third practice that grounds me is a meditation practice.
You say that with kind of a holier than thou
Well, you've
attitude.
dabbled with it from time to time, and I don't know, my hypothesis is that you have found it to be. So for me, meditation is one of the single practices that has been the most significant practice for me over the last 25 or 30 years. And when we teach it, we talk, I take a snow globe, or I use the metaphor of that holiday globe where you shake it up and the flakes are all crazy in there, and you put the globe down on the table and the flakes settle. And that's the fruit of meditation. And the research is really clear that even 5 minutes will reduce the inflammatory response, will pull down the cortisol levels. You don't have to do it perfectly. It can be just a simple breath meditation. There are lots of apps for it, but that's a practice that grounds us.
All right. Another practice is eating well.
Oh, yes.
I've been watching myself because we've been going to the grocery store and getting staples like rice and pasta. We're not rice and pasta eaters. We eat a lot of salad. And there's something funny that happens when there's this sense that you gotta stock stuff in, you gotta circle the wagons. And I watch myself going, I should make vegan mac and cheese. That sounds great. Okay, we don't need to be eating vegan mac and cheese, but that's a response to anxiety. It is how to comfort ourselves. We don't need to be doing that. All right, get the staples, have them in the cabinet, but don't be eating that right now. Eat well, eat vegetables and fruits, eat like a human being, because,
How we fuel ourselves matters. And so good eating practices. So, when we're teaching wellness to executive teams, we use a triangle, the 3 E's, E cubed, eating, exercise, and emotional well-being. And the E for the emotional well-being is at the base of that triangle because it grounds everything. When we're anxious, we don't exercise. When we're anxious, we stress
eating
eat.
mac and cheese, vegan or otherwise.
Oh,
I don't
vegan
care.
or
Vegan
otherwise.
sounds great, but you know what? You don't need to eat mac and cheese of any kind.
So grounding yourself in the eating, exercise, and emotional well-being practices, those grounding practices. Now, I know this metaphor so irritates you.
My God, you're gonna use it.
I am. So I think that the metaphor, the analogy of the oxygen mask, when the give me a little leeway here. When the airline steward, comes out, the stewardess, the attendant comes out and says, in the event the cabin loses pressure, a mask will drop down and oxygen will flow through. Put the mask on, take care of yourself first. We've got a lot of important work to do in the world right now. You take care of yourself first in that analogy, because if you don't, you're dead on the cabin floor. We have people we're meant to serve, family that rely on us, loved ones that rely on us. We've got important work to do in the world beyond this moment in time. We're going to get through this moment in time together. It's going to be okay. And right now, we need to take care of ourselves, the most important asset of all, so that we can do the work and move through this challenging time.
Just say no to mac and cheese.
Maybe that will be the title of the video.
Just say no to mac and cheese.
Make it a great rest of the day. Great rest of the week. Be well. Talk soon.
Bye, guys.